This is Eric from Packhacker, and today we're taking a look at the NITECORE Tiki flashlight, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. If you find this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So as you can see from looking at this thing, we've got both plastic and metal, but mostly plastic on here. So when I first got this, I kind of thought that it felt a bit cheap and it looked a little bit cheap, but as I've used it, I've kind of really grown to love it. And some people might not be able to get over that look. Like, it almost looks like something you might get at the hardware store, like up at the desk, that isn't that great, but is there, so you buy it. But this thing really has some unique features I'm excited to get into. So just looking a little closer, you can see it has that clear, transparent plastic, so you can kind of see inside, which is kind of neat. It reminds me of like the Game Boys of old. And this thing has an IP66 rating, so that means, you know, if you spill some water on it or if you drop it or something like that, most likely it's going to survive. And that really surprised me as well because it has a higher rating than other flashlights that seem more durable. But on this back end over here, we've got, oh, there we go, focused. This little loop on the end, and it comes with this little clip as well. But according to their site, this little loop can hold up to 30 kilograms or 66 pounds of weight, which obviously we haven't tested, but I did kind of yank on it a bit and no issues to report. I put a carabiner on there and really just pulled it. So that's a pretty nice feature, especially if you're going on a more rugged adventure. You don't want this to fall off your pack. So on the front here, we've got this power button. And then on the back, we have the little cover here for the charging system. So these buttons are pretty small. So if you have larger hands, you might struggle to hit the button and to pop this little cover off, so that way you can charge the device. So that's something to think about if you do have larger hands. That is a micro USB, which is one of the things that, I guess the only things that I don't like about this light is that micro USB. It's just a little bit old at this point. I still use micro USB chargers, but I kind of wish that was a USB-C. So to use this thing, we have 3 different functions. They all are, you have to use this power button because that's the only button. So if you just hold the button, you're getting full blast until you let go. So that is, I believe, 300 lumens. When you just hold it like that, that is full blast what the light can do. But if you don't want to do that, or you don't want to have to hold it, you can hit it twice. And as you can see there, that is on the lowest setting right now, which is 1 lumen. It's really even hard to see with the lighting setup we have here. Tap it again, and it goes up and cycles through all of the lights. So that's back up at 300 lumens again at full speed. So you just keep hitting it, you can keep cycling through. So the middle 2 are 15 lumens and 60 lumens. So you've got 1, 15, 60, and 300. So there is kind of a big gap between 60 and 300, but no real issues to report there. At least in my case, I'm using it. So I'm gonna hold it again to turn it off. And then we have these 2 lights here as well. So you double tap through, or triple tap, I should say. 1, 2, 3, and that turns on. You can't see that because the lighting's, well, I guess you can see it a little bit. That's a UV light. So you can use that for you know, a myriad of different things that you might need while traveling. You can check counterfeit bills in some countries. Tap it again, and we've got this LED here. And then one more time, and that LED starts flashing, which is nice for, you know, if you're walking at night, you can just attach this to yourself, or in the morning going for a run, you've got a nice little flasher. So, and then you hold that and it'll turn off. So the battery on this thing is 130 milliamps, which is pretty good for a light of this size. So over the full 2 weeks while I was testing this thing, I was trying to figure out something to compare its size to. I mean, I know you can see it in my hand, but it's easier for me at least to think about it compared to something. And the best thing I came up with is a Sharpie cap. So if you have a Sharpie permanent marker, this is a very similar size to that. So the Sharpie cap is a little bit thinner, but this is very similar in size to a full-size Sharpie cap. So that might help you with its size a little bit better. But what can that do for you? So this feels very comfortable in your hand. You can also like just palm it and like it's just gone. Like, that's how small it is. It's gonna fit inside your sling, your day pack, or your travel backpack. If it does get unattached for whatever you have it attached to in your travel backpack, and it could get lost in one of the corners and be a little bit hard to find because it is so small. But this fits on my key ring, no issues at all. It's about the size of a key. It's obviously wider than a key, but it just fits in really well. I use it with my chum's Surf Short wallet, and it just fits right in with the rest of my keys. And I just really dig how powerful this thing is, especially for how small it is. So for the comparison for this video, we're going NITECORE against NITECORE. So this is the NITECORE Tini 2, and we've recommended this and we really dig this flashlight. And we still dig it after reviewing this one, but there are a few differences and similarities to go over. So this one obviously has those 2 buttons there, as you can see. A lot of similar functionality though, like if you hold the top button, you get that full blast, but that is 500 lumens, so you're getting 200 more lumens than you are getting out of the Tiki. This one weighs quite a bit more depending on which one you get. The stainless steel one is 26 grams and this one comes in at 12 grams, so you are saving some weight. This one charges with USB-C, so if you already are bringing a USB-C charger, that's very handy, whereas again, this one has that micro USB, which is just not that handy, especially if you don't want to bring a micro USB charger with you, but you might not need to charge it when you're going on a trip, depending on the length of your trip. So obviously they do have very different looks to them. So depending on what kind of look you are going for, they just look a lot different. Like this one is a bit more sleek in my opinion. This one looks a little bit cheaper. But again, this one is a lot cheaper and has similar functionality. Like I don't really miss the 200 lumens that you don't have there. But this one has 2 buttons. I think I mentioned that earlier, but that does give you more functionality. And it's, at least for me, I kind of like the 1 button design because everything's in 1 button and I can just learn that, and I constantly am forgetting which button is which. But overall, they're both great flashlights. It just depends if you need that extra light and what form factor you want. So there you have it, the NITECORE Tiki flashlight. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.